On August 30th, 6 Kamloops Blazers hit the road and headed for Vancouver, but they weren't there to play hockey. Forward Jimmy Bubnick, defenseman Josh Caron, Giffen Nyren, Linden Saip, and Zak Stebner, and goalie Justin Leclerc all made the trip, alongside a handful of Kamloops Mounties and an additional officer from Kelowna as part of Project EDGE, a program aimed at educating Kamloops elementary school students about the dangers of drug use. The 2.5-day whirlwind, which culminated in an intense nighttime tour of the notorious downtown east side, began with a visit to the RCMP's training facility in Chilliwack, followed by dinner with Vancouver Canucks defenseman Kevin Bieksa and Blazers owner Tom Ghilardi. The following day, after a morning stop at the BC Children's Hospital in Vancouver, the 6 Blazers were taken to the RCMP's E-Division headquarters, the base of operations for all Mounties in BC. There, they heard from Corporal Richard de Jong, who explained to them the differences between certain types of drugs and offered information about their inherent dangers. De Jong also answered a number of questions from the players and offered some insight into what they would see on the downtown east side. Following the stop at RCMP headquarters, Bubnick, Caron, Leclerc, Nyren, Saip, and Stebner were taken to the Vancouver Police Department's Marine section, where they went on a 2-hour tour of the city's harbor aboard VPD police boats. After a quick dinner and a brief meeting at the VPD's detachment at 312 Main Street in downtown Vancouver, just steps from East Hastings Street, the thoroughfare that has become synonymous with drugs, prostitution, and poverty, the players were ready to hit the sidewalks and alleys of Canada's poorest neighbourhood. For 3 hours, the players toured the downtown east side, and for each of them, it was an experience they will never forget. And beginning in October, they will share their experiences with students at local schools with the goal of preventing drug addiction before it starts. According to Kamloops RCMP Inspector Yves Lacasse, who invited Kamloops This Week reporter Tim PETRUK and photographer Dave Eagles along for the trip, Project EDGE sends an invaluable message to local kids. Don't do drugs.
It's rewarding. And I think we are making an impact. And you can't wait until these kids are, I'm talking about the school kids and the ones we're talking to, the grade 6, but you can't wait until these kids are 20 years old to start talking to them. You know, I think you were with us last night when we were talking to this Chippy guy. And, you know, one of the things he said is that in my days, you know, back then, nobody was talking to us, nobody was educating us. And, you know, I don't remember when I went to school, I don't remember anything remotely close to this. And it's sad that we have to do that. You know, it really is. But kids need to be educated. They need to have the information that's out there so they can make at least an informed decision when they have to make a decision. You know, am I going to turn left today or am I going to go right? Am I going to experiment? Is the experiment just going to be just that, just an experiment, or am I going to be hooked for the rest of my life? And that's what happened, and that's the message we heard last night. You know, so many of them have tried to just smoke a little bit of pot, and pot, you know, wasn't enough, and they had to take it to another level, and those are people that become addicts.
You see this in the movies all the time. You know, you're almost desensitized to it in some way, and then you get 3 feet away from a lady shooting herself up in the arm with a needle, and it's reality, and it's the bitter reality of the harsh drug world and the slippery slide people could fall into.
So what do you think when you look at something like that?
I have a lot of compassion for those people. Like, you know, maybe I haven't seen it in my family, and I haven't had that around my lifestyle because I've been so privileged to be raised in a good community and with lots of support behind. You know what, I feel for those kids that have maybe learning disabilities and learning challenges through high school where they're singled out and in high school activities and maybe not, they're, you know, and they're faced to, you know, get an escape somehow. And that starts with, you know, like the easy stuff, the alcohol and the cigarettes and, you know, the marijuana, I guess. You know.
So what's the message you're going to take to the schools?
Well, I'm going to take to the schools that this is not, these people do not choose to be there. They don't like being down there. they don't. You got to understand that they don't like doing those drugs. They don't like it. They're doing them because they're chasing the curse. They're chasing they're involved in, they got trapped in it, and they can't get out.
When you guys got back, what were some of the questions the other guys asked you?
What it was like, and we kind of gave them the real stuff. We said we saw the people using the drugs, and we saw we smelt the alleyways, and you would never think that people would live in, and these are their houses, and to go up in the downtown core of Vancouver into a rundown hotel in an 8x9 or 9x9 room, and to smell what those people live through, and to walk up the stairs and see there's blood on the walls and dirt everywhere, and to everyone looks out their bedroom window to see grass. These windows, they look out to see barbed wire rings around with 3 feet of garbage in the spillway, and that's disgusting.
Oh, that every one of those people, we carry on a pretty good conversation with most of them, and they all said not to take drugs. So that was the definite main thing, and I'll take that back to the elementary schools and definitely share my experience.
What do you think of the program as a whole?
Oh, it was tremendous. I had a great time, learned tons of things. Going to the police things, going to the lectures and things like that. I took a lot that I didn't know, and I'm really happy that I went, and just it was a definite worthwhile experience.
I think the biggest thing for me was the fact that the people were actually smart people that were out there. They were a lot of them weren't too into the drugs to talk to you and make a lot of sense about the things they're saying. They could give you some pretty good insight about the life they live there. So it wasn't like it was a bunch of people who were so out of their mind that they didn't know what was going on. Like, they were fully aware of what was happening, and they know about their addictions, and it just kind of makes it scary because it makes it more real. Anyone could fall into that trap with a series of wrong decisions.
We got a bunch of stories down there from different guys, and I think that the stories that we tell them about the people down there is going to be a lot more effective than just saying don't do drugs, stay away from it. Being able to meet some of the people down there and learn about their lives and how they got there, I think the kids will get a lot stronger message from that than just telling them.
I expected some pretty wild things, obviously. We've seen pictures from years past, but actually getting down there was amazing, just seeing all the people down there. I didn't realize there'd be that many people. You figured it'd be just one street, but it was blocks and blocks and back alleys and little nooks and crannies. And everywhere you looked, there was somebody bent over, just down and out. Well, the message is pretty clear. Every guy down there said the same thing. You don't want to be down here. And it all started off. We asked them every time what did it start with, and it was when I was 13 or when I was 14. I was down at a party. They remember exactly where it was. They one guy is 13 years old at a P&E and smoking pot for the first time, and he just became a loner, and that was it. So the message is pretty clear. You don't want to go down there ever, and it was pretty special for us to be able to get down there and experience it without actually being one of them.
It was quite a good experience. I liked it a lot.
What about the actual experience on the street last night?
Oh, it was wild.
Was that any different than you thought it would be?
Yeah, oh yeah. I never imagined me being down there, witnessing that, and being a part of that, and just opened my eyes up to just couldn't imagine.
Yeah. So out of that experience, what's the message you're going to take when you go talk to the kids?
Don't do drugs. Don't even try.
Yeah.
Just stay away from that stuff. Don't get peer pressured into that kind of stuff.